It's not like we missed you or anything. Oh my gosh, you guys have membership thingies now. Okay, sick. Now, hopefully YouTube chat doesn't die.
clioaite.
Oh look, it was synchronized emotes. Oh, it's all working. It's all working. Sorry for not streaming whilst I was in Canada, even though I took a laptop and everything to go to Canada. There was simply no time. The only time I was in my hotel room, I was asleep. I was with Pippa for like 10 minutes, yeah? And then I was on the warehouse stream. And I think I didn't really say much during the warehouse stream because I was just enjoying everyone's company. And then we did a phasequest collab as well. I guess we can start from the top, right? We should start from the top. So obviously I didn't tell you guys that I was going. It was kind of heavily hinted that something was going on, right? Because obviously the JPs are on their trip. Flying from door to door, from leaving my house on Thursday to arriving at the hotel was 32 hours of travel. So that's the fun start to the trip. I arrived at Vancouver and I get picked up by Mary and Sakana and Sheena. And I am like, I got a hoodie on and I have my face mask on because I do not want to be perceived. I do not want to be perceived at all. Whenever I fly now, I always wear a face mask. Purely because every single time that I've flown recently, I get COVID. Who is that driving? Sheena. I got in the car and I was like, hello. And I had to whisper to Mary, I was like, who's that? And then Mary was like, that's Sheena. And I was like, oh. I was not there for the fishmobile accident. I was not there for the boat backing into bit. So yeah, I did, how many flights did I take on Thursday? I think I was in 5 flights. It was actually an okay, like the main flight of going across the Pacific Ocean was not that bad because I kind of got to sleep in like 2-hour chunks and I was blessed with good seat RNG. Good seat RNG blessed me. I didn't have to sit next to any babies, no crying babies. They said, oh, let's get food. So that we went to a dim sum place and I didn't know what dim sum was and I'm too afraid to ask what dim sum is. And I was so depressed because I had just been, I think at that point, traveling for, I think 30-ish hours. And I was just wearing my hoodie with the hood up, mask on. I did not want anyone to perceive me. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want to socialize. I didn't want anyone to like observe me. They were like, Clio, would you like to try some? And I said, no. No, I want to go in a bath and lie down and fall asleep. So they basically eat all the food and I'm like, that looks nice, but I have no appetite. I can't eat that. I think I was very stinky. And I wore my lucky socks because I always wear my lucky socks on flights because I think I just wear my lucky socks whenever I'm in a situation where I don't want to be. I should explain why they're my lucky socks. I wore them on the day I had my surgery to get my tumors removed. So, and obviously that went well. So I attribute that not to the skill of the doctor, but to the fact that I wore my lucky socks. I finally they finish eating food. I think I eventually get dropped off at my hotel, get all checked in and everything. And then it's actually a really nice hotel that I ended up in. And I ended up getting a very good deal. So there was an Airbnb that was like for everyone, but I have had one too many situations in which room sharing has gone horribly wrong. So even if you have separate rooms, I'm perfectly fine covering my own travel and stay if I can just know that I will be by myself. So I got my own room and I ran the bath and then I got in the bath and I fell asleep for an hour. So that could have gone horribly wrong on the first day of the trip. So I eventually was like, oh wait, hang on, I've got to get ready because we wanted to go get food. Pulled the bath and then figured out how to operate the shower because it was a little awkward, but it was good. It was a good time and I felt really, really good. So I had hot pot for the first time and I was on a table with Mary and Dizzy and it was my first time having hot pot and they were showing me the ropes and I didn't know what to do really. And then we ordered way too much. I think that's probably like a thing about hot pot. If you go for the first time, you get too much and then you just end up with like plates of stuff. You read that there was meat. Oh, there was so much meat. Dizzy got the iPad and then went beep 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 beep. And then like stacks upon stacks of trays of meat just showed up, and I was like, oh, that's a lot. Good thing I have an appetite now because I had a bath. It was really good. It was my first time having hot pot. We kind of went a bit crazy with the order. We wanted alcohol, and Dizzy was like, oh, what should we get? And then Mary, I think, or was it me? I can't remember. One of us was like, white girl. And we said, let's get some wine. Also, I haven't been in a very Northern Hemisphere place for a long time, so it really weirded me out that the sun set at like 10 p.m. It was quite nostalgic, I guess, rather than weird, because obviously back in the day I used to live in Ireland and the UK, and it kind of has the same situation. But yeah, no, because in Australia, when the sun sets, it's like 5, 6 p.m. all year round, right? Because I was thinking, why am I tired? It's still sunny out. And then I look at the clock and it's 9 p.m. and I'm like, what the fuck? Why is the sun out at 9 p.m.? And then I remembered, wait a second, I'm in Canada. I was expecting it to be summer, so I brought summer clothes. And then it was hotter in Australia than it was in Vancouver, so I bought a bunch of clothes that I then couldn't wear because it was too cold. I packed a few things that were like, I guess, I don't know, a bit more girly. I packed these like short, it's like a short skirt, but it has 2 leg holes. And then I had like a very fancy Gorman t-shirt, but it was too short. I brought 2 pair of long pants and I just wore them the entire trip. And then I wore my like baggy t-shirt sort of things. I was wearing like baggy slacks and then big oversized t-shirts that are like intentionally too big because it's big and baggy, and I can wear it and get away with not having to wear a bra because it's quite thick as well. Yeah, pants. No, so I basically wore like big oversized baggy plain t-shirts and then baggy slacks basically the entire time that I was in Vancouver because it was too cold to wear any of my other clothes, which was a shame. Why did I do that? Why did I draw this? That was what I was wearing on my trip. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I think day 2, Sleepy and Pippa were there. So I went to their Airbnb and we had the off-collab in which it was just me and Pippa when I showed up. I had some Tim Hortons for the first time. And I feel like the options Pippa picked were very sweet. Lots of sweets. Too many sweets, in fact. There were like Timbits and donuts and all sorts of baked goods. The coffee was like not coffee, it was like sweet coffee. Like it was like a Oreo with coffee and Oreo stuff. And then there was a crusher, and then also, 2 different crushers, and then there was like other pastries and everything. And I was like, oh my god, this is just sweets. There's just calories and sugar. It was alright. Wasn't like amazing, but I also don't drink coffee, so I couldn't really give any sort of judgment on the actual coffee itself. Also, it was all tasting like various different flavors instead of like what coffee should taste like. I really enjoyed my time in Canada. Everyone's very nice in PhaseConnect, and everyone's very welcoming of a foreigner like me, of a white woman like me in Asian Connect. So we had the off collab, and I met Pippa for the first time, and I was like, whoa, what the heck? There's Pipkin Pippa in the flesh. That was kind of like an interesting experience to be like, whoa, okay. But I kind of had that with everyone, right? Like the first time I met Dizzy, I think I went to the bathroom in the dim sum place. And then when I came out, there was just an extra person with the group. And I was like, huh? Who's that? And then Mary was like, that's Dizzy, Clio. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was still in my hoodie and my mask and being like, bleh. I'm miserable and sad because I've been traveling for 30 plus hours. But that kind of happened a lot, where it's like, oh, we have new people with us. And there's like, oh, wait, that's so-and-so. So yeah, we had phasequest meet up for the first time. Very, very nice to meet up with Sleepy and Mary at the same time. And we got to hang out together and team bond. I feel like we have very good team bonding. I think we do, at least. Sorry, do you want to hear my deranged ranting from when I was on the plane, writing down what we did for the last 6 days? Day 2, slow start, headed to the Airbnb where a few of the others were staying. Met Pippa and Sleepy for the first time. We did the mini off-collab. Had Tim Hortons. It wasn't very good. Coffee bad. Sweets okay. Quenches okay. Headed to the company lunch. That was the big lunch that we met everyone at. Pippa drove. Good driver. Met all of JP and EN members who were present for first time. Everyone very cute, everyone very polite and welcoming, and I said, "Hi, I'm Clio," and they all clapped, but we also did that for every single person in the company, and that was very, very weird. And then Clara wanted to sit next to me at the dinner table, because she missed me that much, so she was like, "Can I sit next to Clio?" So she and Mary swapped, so we could sit next to each other during the meals, and we got to hang out a lot that day. Oh yeah, Clara and I hung out at dinner and yapped, but I tried to also meet everyone else. Spoke to Pico in Japanese very badly. Pico, very cute. What else was there? Oh yeah, and then I think after that we all went to the warehouse again, and then we went shopping. We went out drinking, and it was Mary, you, me, and Clara, and then we all went out drinking, and I tried to speak as good English, Japanese as possible.
Fucking idiot.
And talk to you as much as I could, and we all had a lovely time. We had a lovely, lovely time going drinking. Had Dairy Queen with Clara. Clara forced me to get sugary ice cream. It was very nice. Felt sick after. We went drinking, and then apparently at the same time we went drinking, there was also a big karaoke night, which we missed. And then the JPs, I think, were leaving the next day, so we had to end early the drinking session. So it was a little bit early, and Clara was very sad, and I was like, "No, Clara, don't be sad." Actually, she wasn't that sad. So I really liked my time in Vancouver. I had an amazing time. There was one moment on the trip which was like, "This sucks really, really bad. I don't like this at all. What the hell?" And that was coming home from the bar with Mary when we went out drinking. We went down, I believe it's called Hastings Street in Vancouver. So Hastings is the street that essentially the homeless are on, right? It's the homeless and the fentanyl addicts. I was aware of the fentanyl crisis in North America. I was aware of it, but I didn't realize it was this bad. Because I knew about haha funny fentanyl lean zombie sort of situation. I didn't expect it when I got in the Uber to just see, I don't even know how many blocks of people doing that. And Mary was talking to me and explaining to me everything about it. Yeah, I didn't realize just how bad the quote-unquote fentanyl epidemic, fentanyl zombie stuff, fentanyl leaning, I didn't realize how bad it was. This is gonna sound really stupid, okay? Because my only real knowledge of Vancouver comes from Northern Lion, and the way he's always explained or talked about Vancouver is that it's a very nice place, and that it's the place that he presumably chooses to live in and raise his kid. So to hear about I don't know, all the nice places in Vancouver from him, and have I guess a little rose tinted glasses about how nice Vancouver is to live and work in, and then to go into Hastings and essentially see Skid Row. I don't know if Australia has this issue. I don't think we do have fentanyl issues on this scale. Apparently this is just all North America. All North American cities seem to have large scale sort of homeless issues / fentanyl issues, which seem to go hand in hand. It's really, really, really weird for me to have experienced that for the first time, and I got really depressed. And Mary was trying to console me and explain just how the whole situation is. And so that was really depressing. I'm genuinely seeing people fent-leaning IRL was I had a really nice time that day, And then I saw that and my mood was just like ruined. It's so depressing to put actual human faces on something that was always just like treated almost like a joke because it looks funny, right? Seeing it IRL and seeing people like fent leaning and doing drugs and living rough like that on like why, like it was like, I don't know how many blocks of the streets it was, but it was so depressing to see. I don't know if it's me being too empathetic or something, but anything like that. I feel like most people would probably have that reaction, right? Mary was just explaining to me like, hey, it's bad here, but in other places it's even worse. And I was like, oh, fuck. That sucks to really hear about. Day 4, we had afternoon tea with Dizzy, and it was lovely. So it was Dizzy and members of Quest. We had afternoon tea together. I had a lovely time. I did break my cup in an absolute stupid moment. It was like a classic traditional tea strainer. I was enjoying the tea a bit too much, poured one more cup, which I probably shouldn't have when the pot was near empty. And then the topper of the pot slipped out and just landed straight on the handle of the very fancy cup. And just went and it fell clean off. You could probably glue it back on, but I have a feeling it might not be the place where they're gonna glue it back on. Hopefully it wasn't too expensive, because that was pretty clean break. The tea was nice, the company was even nicer, the snacks were even nicer. Actually, the snacks were okay. I would say the company was better than the snacks. But it was really nice to sit down and just have like a chill day, because I think that was the warmest day that I was in Vancouver for. So it was a nice air-conditioned room to have some afternoon tea and some yapping. Lots of yapping during the trip, because it turns out when you get VTubers together IRL, they love to yap about everything and anything. We went to the Airbnb and we did the off-collab with Sleepy and Mary, so we did the phasequest off-collab that day. And then we went out for a meal afterwards and we did barbecue. And Sleepy got absolutely fucking hammered on, I think it was sake. I have bad memories of sake, so I sip sake. I can't shot glass sake. And then if I'm gonna be honest, I think I prefer to drink other drinks aside from sake anyway, because basically the last time I really had sake, I was drinking sake, vodka, and tequila all at the same time, and also soju. And that, I think that day maybe ruined all of those drinks for me. So yeah, Sleepy got very wasted. The food was good. It was like a barbecue Asian place. I don't know if it was Chinese. It was quite confusing because I'm really white. This is gonna sound like I'm not being racist. I'm just ignorant. It was a Asian place that was playing K-pop 24/7. And then I think all of the staff were Chinese, and I think all of the food was Chinese. So I don't think it was Korean barbecue. I think it was just a Chinese place playing K-pop, but I wasn't sure because I didn't want to accidentally cause a diplomatic incident. It wasn't dim sum, because it was, everything came out on like skewers, on like heated racks, and it was very nice. It was very yummy. Although one of them was really bad, and cartilage, like cartilage skewers, so I bit into them and I'm just like, I can't eat any of this. What is the point? What is the point of this skewer? It doesn't have any meat on it. It's just like the cartilage. Maybe for some people they like that, but like it just felt like I was trying to eat gristle and I was like, bleh. It's for the mouthfeel? That's no! I do not like that. And then what else was it after that? We ordered a lot. There was like a spicy fish broth thing where the fish was just like in the broth, and then you had to pull apart the fish yourself, so it had all the bones. So that was a bit annoying, pulling out all the bones. But that was really nice. And then Sakana was saying that the broth is too spicy. If you have the oil, he said that it would sit in my stomach for 10 years and then I would die. So I called him out on his bullshit, and then I had some, and it really wasn't that spicy. And then what else There was a giant seafood platter. It had shrimp on it. So I was like, oh, okay, I've got to deshell them. And so I was deshelling them because that's what I've always done. In Australia, you deshell shrimp and then you eat it. And then he's like, oh no, you just eat it with the shell. And so he was just like, eat it. And I was like, what the fuck, you eat it? That's no. Yeah, no, I deshelled all of them. I didn't believe him. I was like, no, that's terrible. And then he was like, see, I'll prove it. And then he grabs one and just eats it. And I'm like, no, just because you did it doesn't mean I'm going to do it. So I think he judges me a little bit for being too white. Oh yeah, day 5. So that was technically yesterday? Yes, because it was Monday for me, and now it's Wednesday for me. I don't get Tuesday this week. Sorry, guys. No Tuesday report, because Tuesday just doesn't get to happen for me. Now it's Wednesday for me. I checked out of the hotel, and then went straight to the warehouse. It was Dizzy, Pippa, Sleepy, and I, pretty much all day, because Mary had to leave early. We basically went all over the place. I had boba tea for the first time. I never bothered to look up what boba tea is. So I assumed boba tea had a flavor to it. Like, when people were drinking boba tea, all of the people around the planet were having the boba tea flavor. I didn't realize boba tea is just various different flavors with the tapioca balls. So when we went in, for the first time I ever went to a boba place, I was like, oh fuck, what do I get? And Dizzy was like, well, you like black tea, so maybe we get you the black tea latte, and then we can add some tapioca balls. So I had my first ever tapioca, or boba tea. It was kind of yeah, it was just kind of like One of the things that I had issues with was when I was trying to drink it, and then I just kept sucking up the ball into the straw, and I was like, I want the drink, not the bowl. This is just inconveniencing me. I just want the drink. I don't want the bowl. Because then I eventually had one of the bowls, and it was really chewy. It was just really chewy over and over and over, and eventually I managed to stop chewing it, and it, like, you could swallow it, I guess. But I mean, I think Pippa and Sheena got like a nice flavored one, and they were really enjoying theirs. Whereas mine was just tasted like funky black tea, I guess. I was stuck in a horrible flight with baby child. Well, yes, babies are normally children. I guess not all children are babies, but all babies are children. It was like 5 seats away. It was pretty rough. Not a fan. And then the woman that sat next to me, she was at first very sweet, but she did give me a bit of a warning sign that she might have been weird. She sat down next to me and she said, oh, I was in the lounge, or the gate in the airport, and I saw a lot of fat people, so I talked to the staff, and I asked to be put in a row where there was a gap to sit in. And I was like, oh, okay. So she moved seats to the row that I was in, and so she had the window seat, and then I had the aisle seat. And she was like, well, we've got this seat between us. We can share the empty space, and it'll be great. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I was just, chilling, and then trying to get to sleep, and not really do anything, but I was struggling to get to sleep between the crying baby and all the other distractions. So I was basically just watching 3 films at once off other people's screens, whilst I had the map of the world in front of me, watching the plane fly across the Pacific Ocean, and I was enjoying that. And then over on my left, there was a romance film starring Andrew Garfield and Thingy Pugh. What's her name? Florence Pugh? It's a romance film called We Live in Time. So that was on my left. Then to my right, there was one person watching, I think it was Infinity War. And then further to my right, there was someone watching Gladiator 2. And then further to the right was someone watching The Substance. Yes, it was The Substance with Demi Moore, yes. So I was watching 4 films at once whilst also looking at the planet. So I was looking at my map of the Earth. And then I had We Live in Time, Infinity War, Gladiator 2, and The Substance. And I was watching all 4 at once. and I was struggling to get to sleep. I think I finished all the stuff about Canada. So there was a fun plan. I think I'm allowed to reveal this. Dizzy and I were gonna maybe do an off-collab at the warehouse in which we played Civ together. All just kind of like ended up just hanging out, and so we were just having a good time hanging out with each other, so we never started the stream. So yeah, that's why I didn't end up streaming yesterday, because I think at the end of the off-collab with Quest I was like, guys, I might stream tomorrow. So yeah, the reason was we were just having too good of a time just hanging out and yapping and going around Vancouver and seeing all the other places. So yeah.